Welcome to Talking Technology with VI Labs. At VI Labs, we believe technology is the single greatest enabler for people with sight loss and all disabilities. If you're looking for the latest news and conversation on tech from a more accessible perspective, you've come to the right place.
Yes, indeed, you have. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of Talking Technology with VI Labs. Hope you're keeping well. It is episode number 69. Yes, we are at 69. Do you know something? So many people have been telling me that 69 is their favourite number. I have honestly no clue why. And I've been racking my brains for days trying to work out why everybody's telling me that 69 is their favourite number. And then it hit me. I realised it's a Braille episode. Yes, it is it is a Braille episode of Talking Technology, which means we are going to be discussing all things Braille. Yes, it really is a fantastic time. We love these Braille episodes. We do Braille episodes a few times a year to celebrate specific events and stuff like that. We do one for Louis Braille Day and all that. So, but today is one of those days. It is a Braille episode day, and we have a packed episode coming up. We're going to be taking a look at the Braille Note Touch with Brian. That's coming up later on as well. And fresh from the release of iOS 18, we're going to be taking a deep dive into Braille screen input. That's been getting loads of updates over the last little while too. So we have a packed show coming up over the next little while. So please do stick around. We would absolutely love to have you with us. And hey, we'd also love to have you get in touch. If you want to join the conversation, as always, the details, well, they're the same as always. You can send us an email at any time to content@vi.ie, and we would love to hear from you that way, the good old-fashioned way. Or if you want to send us a voice note, we'd love to hear from you. You can send us a voice note on WhatsApp, the number that you need there, 086 199 0011. That's 086 199 0011. Share your thoughts on Braille. We'd absolutely love to hear your perspective on Braille. Do you use it? How did you find learning it? Do you use any Braille technology, or do you use it the good old-fashioned way with a Perkins Brailler? We'd absolutely love to hear from you. 086 199 0011. That's the number that you need. Or you can send us an email to content@vi.ie. Now, I won't do any longer an intro because, as I say, we have a packed show full of Braille related matters to attend to today. And first up, you may have heard on the grapevine that iOS 18 has got some really cool new features for Braille screen input. We actually talked about this on Talking Technology previously, that there were some new features, and you may have seen some articles in the newsletter too about some of the new Braille cords that you can use, which is brilliant. But we caught up earlier this week with Mairead O'Mahony to demo Braille screen input, take a look at what it is, and explore some of the new features. And Mairead is going to be joining us absolutely live after this to chat all about the feature and how she uses it. So here's what happened when I caught up with Mairead earlier this week. So Mairead, Braille screen input, it's been a hot topic the last little while. Tell me a little bit, first of all, about what Braille screen input is.
So for anyone who uses Braille, it allows them to, if they're sending a message or want to interact with their phone, it allows them to type in Braille on their phone. So you would position the phone in such a way that you can press all 6 dots on the screen. So all the dots are on the screen instead of a tactile format. So you'd position your fingers pretty much the same as you would on a Perkins machine, but you just have no tactile buttons. So it then you can do contracted or uncontracted Braille, whichever people prefer. It also, especially with the Braille screen input in iOS 18, it has a lot of new features. So there's also command mode, which allows people to interact with their phone more so than what they could do before using Braille screen input. So if anyone is familiar with using the Hable or anything like that, it's very similar. So once you put the Braille screen input into command mode, You can go to your home screen by pressing the letter H. If you want to navigate forwards, you can press dot 4, and that'll navigate forwards through the menu. Dot 1 will navigate you back in the menu. If you want to open the control center, you'd press dots 2 and 5 together, and that will bring you to the control center. So what we'll do is we'll actually maybe just do a demo of it there now and just see it in action.
Do we want to set it up and see? So let's say I'm doing it. How do I set it up?
So if you're new to it, you would go into settings.
Group, order, settings.
Then you would navigate down to
Settings,
voiceover.
General, action button, accessibility.
Sorry, accessibility.
Button, accessibility. Personalize iPhone in ways
Then
that
you would
work
go
best
into
for you.
voiceover.
Settings, vision, voiceover, on, voiceover.
And we
switch
double
button,
tap on that. Then we go to Braille.
Voiceover, tab 1, double, learn more, what's new, voiceover, speaking, adjusts the speech, Braille sense, match
We
input
double
and
tap
output
on
tables,
that.
switch button.
Then
off,
we go
output,
to Braille screen input.
Braille screen input, button.
And we turn that on, so we double tap on that.
Type in Braille, launch apps and control your
And
device
that will
using
allow you
Braille
to
screen
type in
input.
Braille. So then it's pretty much on. So you have other options which are all enabled by default, such as sounds, haptic sounds. There's another option as you scroll to the right with your finger.
Use activation gestures, switch button, on.
Use activation gestures, and that should be switched on by default. But if it isn't, you can switch it on by double tapping on it. And that is very essential, especially for doing things like using some of the commands and things. You need to have this feature enabled.
Without using the gestures, you can still start automatically when editing text.
You can have
Switch button,
start
off.
automatically. You can have the Braille screen input to automatically launch once you are in a text edit field, so like a text message or something. It'll automatically start by default. So I have that unticked at the moment because I don't want that to automatically appear. I want to manually activate it when I want to use it. So then you have an option for visual feedback, and that will allow you to see what the Braille dots visually look like as you're typing them, so it will show up as well. Then you have another option for reverse the keyboard layout. So some people might prefer the keyboard, the Braille dots to be in a slightly different position. So they might prefer dot 3 to be where dot 1 is and so on. So that's off for me by default because that's the way I prefer it. So you have a lot of options like that. So once you want to start using it, then you can go into your message.
Home, settings, web messages,
I am now going into my messages.
plus 353.
So I have a message here.
iMessage, text field.
So now I'm
message,
in the text
field,
area
is
of
editing,
my message.
iMessage, insertion point at start.
So let's just say I want to type my message now. So you've got two modes when you're using Braille screen input. And these are screen away mode or tabletop mode. So with the screen away mode, what you need to do is you hold the phone on its sideways, and then you can have the screen facing away from you. You can put your two thumbs at the back of the phone, or you can have them on the top edge of each side of the phone to position it, and that should hopefully hold it steady in place. So you can also, so let's just say I'm going to use the away mode, but it seems to work for me best if I have it slightly on my knee just to kind of balance it. So now, because I'm in away mode, I'm going to activate the Braille screen input now so that I can start typing. So to activate it, I go to the two top edges of the screen at each side of the screen, so the top side, and I double tap with my index finger with both of them.
Braille screen input, landscape, screen away mode.
So now I am ready to start typing. So I'm just going to type a message really quickly here now.
H E L L O E A dot 4 space hello H O W space how A R E space R Y O U question mark dot 5.
So let's just say we have the text entered there now. So what I want to do now is show you how to go to command mode. So if you want to go to command mode, you do a 3-fingered swipe to the left.
Place at most 3 fingers on each side of the screen. Command mode. In.
So I've done a 3-finger swipe to the left there now. And now this is in command mode. So if I press the letter H,
Messages.
it's automatically brought me to messages in my home screen. So now if I want to navigate forward, I'll press dot 4.
Photos. Calendar. Friday. Camera. Weather. Notes. Reminders.
So this is bringing me
Clock.
forward now
15
through all the
maps.
different options. If I want to navigate back in the reverse order, I'll press dot 1.
Clock. 15. Reminders. Notes. Weather.
So that's bringing me
Camera.
back in the
Calendar.
reverse order.
Photos. Messages. Messages.
And I'm back at messages again. If I want to open the control center, I'll press dots 2 and 5 together.
Control center. Airplane mode.
And
Switch
as you can
button.
hear,
Off.
that's the control center
Actions
there.
available.
And again, I can navigate forward through that by pressing dot 4.
AirDrop. Wi-Fi. Mobile dot. Bluetooth.
And
Personal
navigate
hotspot.
back by
Switch
pressing
button.
dot 1.
Off. Bluetooth. Mobile. Wi-Fi. AirDrop.
So you get
Airplane
the
mode.
gist of
88%
that.
battery power. Not charging.
What I can also do is I can go back to the home screen. And let's just say I want to go to messages. So if I press dot 4,
Photos. Calendar. Camera. Weather.
I think I actually
Notes.
passed it on the home screen. So I'll go back.
Weather. Camera.
Dot 1.
Calendar. Photos. Messages. Messages.
So I'm on messages. So now if I want to activate or open messages, so it's the same as if you have any Braille display or any Braille device, a lot of these cords will work on the Braille screen input as well. So that's good knowledge to have. I'll press 3 and 6 together to open. There we go.
Messages. Message.
And
Text
message
field
is opened.
editing.
That's
Hello,
a fantastic
how are you?
setup,
What's your name?
Mairead.
Insertion
Brilliant
pointed
stuff.
It is.
Actions available.
Just
And then if you just to quickly finish there, if you want to switch between contracted and uncontracted Braille,
Unified. Uncontracted.
it's a 2-finger swipe down towards you. So you have options like unified, contracted, and unified, uncontracted. So
awesome stuff.
whichever option you choose then. And if you want to lock the orientation, so if you have it in away mode or tabletop mode,
Orientation locked.
you do a 3-finger swipe up towards you. And then just to stop the Braille screen input, then once you're finished typing, all you do is bring your 2 index fingers to each top edge of the screen on the top, and you just slide your fingers apart from each other,
Portrait. Stopping Braille screen input.
and you'll hear stopping Braille screen input.
Mairead, do you think something like this is going to have much of an impact on the market for devices like the Hable?
Yes, I think it will to a degree, because now you can do a lot of what you can do with the Hable with this now as well. And it's a new accessibility feature that has been built into the phones. So it's not, you don't have to purchase a separate device. Again, it gives people flexibility to, use the phone if they're out walking, or, if they're, on a bus or something and they don't want to, if they prefer to type in Braille, because anyone that's used to typing in Braille, just typing on a Braille keyboard will come very naturally to you.
For sure.
Well, it does take a lot of getting used to, I suppose. For me anyway, it takes a lot of getting used to typing on a Braille, using Braille screen input on a non-tactile button device.
Yeah,
So it's very different typing on a screen as you would in Braille than
Actually having
than
the
if you
buttons.
had a physical device. But I think a lot of that too is to do with the way you hold the phone and the finger positioning that you have. So it's very important to get that right. But once that's right, the fingers do kind of fall into place.
Interesting stuff. Mairead, thank you so much for showing us that. It's a really cool tool for sure. Yeah, it really is. I think that kind of feature, the two things stand out to me when I listen to that. First one, I think it was Edvard mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, that the sound effects for the Braille screen input, especially that kind of the command mode being activated, sound amazing. I love those little sound effects. They're really brilliant. And also, and this is one I'll bring you in on, Mairead, if I can. This, I'd imagine, might even be a little bit easier on an iPad. Does it exist on iPad, do you know?
Hi, David. Yes, you can use it on an iPad as well. The only thing I suppose about the iPad is you have a lot more space on the screen to play with. So again, it's a lot of it would be about spatial awareness.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it would be about spatial awareness. Whereas I suppose on a phone you have a smaller screen to play with, so otherwise your fingers can kind of get lost easier. I would find I did try it out on the iPad Mini that I have.
That's interesting. I would have
Yeah,
thought
it
maybe
is.
the touch area, like it makes perfect sense when you say it, but I actually would have thought the opposite, because I would have thought, oh, you have more space to put your fingers, and I would have assumed that the iPad would actually adapt to your finger positioning a little bit better. But if that's not the case, I guess that spatial awareness in some ways is easier on the iPhone then, is it?
Yeah, I would definitely think so. Like especially even like if you're, even navigating an iPad and an iPhone, again, while things are in the same locations, for physical navigation, they are in slightly different corners of the screen and I suppose I just would be myself very spatial awareness when I'm using an iPhone and an iPad, because even if something is a slight bit further to the right, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
So I would personally find it easier to navigate an iPhone than an iPad, even though I have both. But that's why I have the Mini, because it's not as big, I suppose, as the Pros or the Airs.
That's really interesting. We had an article in Tech on Tap last week about the new release of the iPad Mini, and a lot of people were saying after that that screen size really does matter to them in that regard. And I guess for someone using something like Braille screen input, that's particularly the case, isn't it?
Yeah, and just to emphasize again there, I would stress again that I suppose, while it's great to have the Braille screen input built into the iPhones and everything now, the iPhones and the iPads, still, if you find gestures challenging to use, like the Hable is still probably the better device for those people, because you have your physical buttons, and so it's easier to line up your fingers and get them in the correct position. Whereas sometimes I notice when I start using Braille screen input on the iPhone, I'd often start off with typing a couple of letters of the alphabet first, just to and then delete them, just to make sure that I am in the right position. Because any slight bit of movement on the fingers at all, and you are pressing maybe .4 instead of .3, or and it would make a difference in what letter you're typing then.
For sure, that makes sense. How do you see Braille screen input evolving? How would you like it to evolve in the future, do you think?
I'd definitely love to see it, I suppose, being more integrated into apps and even games and things now. I think it would be nice to be able, have that option to use it in games and things. But you can, it like definitely a new feature with the iOS 18 now is you can actually, the command mode is new to it. So you can, navigate your phone using that now as well. So that is great. And you can interact with things on your phone, and you can, open apps and navigate to different apps. So you can do pretty much what you could do with the Hable now. Now, I'm still kind of learning about the Braille screen input really, I suppose, though, because I had tried it before iOS 18, and, it's definitely a lot more stable now with iOS 18. So I'm enjoying using it so far.
That's
but
good.
I suppose for me at the moment, I'm mainly using it for navigating the phone and, messages and things. But yeah, definitely I'd love to see it going down the route of, being able to open any app and, write a post, a Facebook post or anything like that now using it.
Yeah, even if you couldn't, and maybe this is possible, I don't know, but even if you could set like custom chords to open specific apps and stuff.
Yeah,
that would be for me as a non-Braille user. That to me sounds like something that, for efficiency's sake, even being able to just run a shortcut with a certain Braille chord or something like that would be really cool. But there you go, Mairead. Thank you so much for showing us that. Really appreciate it. And we will be hearing from you again later on in the show, because you have a really cool quick pick to share with us. So do stick around for that. Next up, though, you may have heard a little bit about the Braille Note Touch. This is a Braille note taker from the folks over at HumanWare. If you've got something like a Victor Reader Stream and stuff like that, the same company, it's HumanWare, but they also have a Braille division, and one of their products is the Braille Note Touch. And one of the people who's been trying out the Braille Note Touch for us here is the one and only Mr. Brian Manning. And Brian gave us a really cool demo of the Braille Note Touch, how it works, how you can use it, and some of the really cool things that you can do. And he told us all about it. Here's what happened when he showed us a little bit about this really cool product.
Good afternoon, David, and thanks for the invitation to the podcast. This afternoon I'm going to be demonstrating the second of our Braille Note takers. I'm going to be demonstrating HumanWare's model of the Braille Note Touch. And for the listeners, the Braille Note Touch, it's a fully dedicated note taker. It has 32 cells, and it has all of the features that you would expect of a modern contemporary Braille note taker, with some added features. So and very dynamic features, I might add. So for example, it has the whole concept of Braille touch typing, which I think will be evolving more and more. I know that Mairead was speaking about the Braille input into the iPhone screen, and we'll have a very similar feature on this Braille note taker here, as it's built on the Android operating system, and it has you can actually transform it into a tablet. So if I can just go through the physical makeup of the device. And for the most part, it has the conventional Perkins Brailler input. So you have your 6 Perkins Brailler dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And like the average Braille note taker, it has dot 7 to the left of dot 3, and it has dot 8 to the right of dot 6. And like, again, the conventional Braille note takers, dot 7 is the backspace button, dot 8 doubles as the enter button. You have the space bar down between dots 1 and 4, and under which you have a series of cursor routers, which again are common to most Braille note takers. And under the cursor routers, you have your conventional Braille display. And again, as I say, it's the HumanWare Braille Note Touch 32, and that indicates that there are 32 Braille cells on the device. If we look to the left of the device, we have the on-off button, which is to the top left side edge, and you hold that in for about 4 seconds to turn the machine on. You'll feel a little vibration that indicates that the machine is coming on. Down under the on-off button, you have the volume buttons. So again, you can adjust the volume using those buttons, or again, you can use some of the Braille Note shortcuts, which again are common to most of these Braille Note Touch or Braille Note takers, to adjust the volume. If I feel down here in front of me, almost facing my stomach, I have 7 buttons. I have a left thumb button to the extreme left of the front edge, and I have to the right, I have the right touch button, which is the same as going forward or backwards through your different menu options, etc. To the left of the left thumb, to the right of the right thumb, I have a long button, 2 long buttons, and the right long button is the right panning Braille button, and the left is the left Braille panning button. And center to the 2 panning buttons, I have 3 buttons. I have a little left-leaning triangular button, which are an arrow key almost, and that doubles as the escape button or the back button. Next to that, in the middle of that 3 core of buttons, I have a circular key, which is like the start button. You press that and your start menu comes up. And to the right of that, between the right panning button and the circular start button, I have a little square button, and that really, what that features as is a little button that when pressed, it brings up the recent applications that you were using. So you can clear the application, so you can just press that square button and press C to clear the open applications, which is quite good. Or you can cycle through the open applications and enter into one of them. So that's basically the physical makeup of the machine. At the very, very back, as normal, you have a USB button. you have a slot for an SD card, and you have a HDMI slot for doubling or for plugging a video display into the machine. Okay, so now when you turn on the machine, okay, it brings up a menu. And if I could just go, now the first option that really, when you set up the machine initially, you're going to want to make some settings changes to the machine. So to do that, you do chord and O to bring up your options menu. So I'm just going to do that now.
Options menu.
So now I'm in the options menu. And there are a number of settings changes that I will want to do here. So for example, I might want to turn on Wi-Fi, or I might want to change the clock settings. So to do that, I will just press my right thumb button to go to the Android menu.
Select length keyboards, configure miscellaneous user guide, Android system settings.
Android system settings. So if I wanted to connect this to the Wi-Fi.
Set screen lock, protect your set night light schedule, tint plus one more. Network and internet, Wi-Fi, data usage.
So it's going to go in here.
Network and internet, Wi-Fi, B staff.
So I've already connected it to the Wi-Fi NCBI staff connection here, okay? But I can just press enter.
Wi-Fi, refresh list.
Refresh the list, and I can get a list of my Wi-Fi connections here. Now it's important to remember that when you are typing in a Wi-Fi code, you will have to use computer braille. But one good tip that I would always use when using computer braille is you can also connect a USB connection to these devices and just type from a regular QWERTY USB keyboard. Other than that, you just remember that the numbers are lower numbers, etc. for computer braille. Okay, so I can change the Wi-Fi settings in here from the Android list, or the clock settings. I'm just going to press chord E, which is spacebar, and E15.
Main menu. Contacts.
So now I'm on the main menu. I'm just going to go into options again because I want to demonstrate one more menu for you. We can change the keyboard options here.
Configure additional TTS settings.
You can change your TTS, which are your text-to-speech settings. I'm just going to go in here and have a quick look at miscellaneous. So I pressed enter on miscellaneous, and I'm going to thumb forward over here.
Use navigation sound volume, launch tutorial, manage gestures, format markers settings.
Format marker settings. Okay, again, you might want to have those turned off because sometimes they can clutter the braille on the actual braille display.
Visual display, checkbox, checked.
The visual display checkbox checked, and that's important, I think, to have. Now, there's a reason why you would have that turned on, and that is so if you're a student or if you want someone to visually look at your work, then you'd have this turned on, and that way your word processing or whatever would be on display when you open the tablet on the device. If you're a totally blind person and you're just using this device on your own, you might want this turned off because it is a bit of a leak on the battery. I have it turned on here just because this particular device could be used in an educational or a work setting, so I have it turned on. But again, it's a matter of personal choice. So I'm just going to come out of here now with my chord E again, chords dots 1 and 5.
Options menu, miscellaneous main menu, contacts.
So now I'm on the main menu. Now again, it's important to reiterate here that you can't change a lot of these settings from the keyboard itself. So, for example, if I wanted to slow down the speech, I can just use my enter key, and that's number 3.
Slow. Very slow.
And if I wanted to speed it up, I would use my enter key, and that's 6.
Slow. Very slow. Slow. Normal. The updater has stopped.
And the dots 1 and dots 1 and dots 4 regulate the volume.
Softer. Softer. Softer.
Dots 4 to speed up. Louder. Again.
Volume set to 100%.
So set to 100%, so we leave it at that. A good feature of these Braille note takers as well, I think, is where you can turn the voice off and just use it exclusively as for Braille. And that's important, especially if you're learning Braille, where you don't have the support of the voice. It means that you concentrate more on the Braille output, and that's great for Braille reading competitions, or if you're reading a book or whatever, you mightn't want the distraction of the voice. And to do that, again, there's a voice shortcut, so it's spacebar and the left thumb key. And that turns the voice off. So now you just have exclusive access to the Braille. I'm going to turn the voice back on again because it's a tutorial and I want you to hear it.
Speech on.
Okay. Now again, I can thumb through my main menu, which I'm on now.
Contact, email, internet, Chrome, Play Store.
So we have access to the Play Store because remember, the foundation of this device is the fact that it is an Android tablet. So you can download extraneous apps from the Play Store.
Word processor, keyword, planner, key plan, file manager, key calculator, key calc.
Okay, so I'm just going to go back here and have a quick look at the word processor.
File manager, planner, key plan.
And again, because
Word processor,
it is a menu, I can use first letter navigation. So for example, for the word processor, I can press W. For the Braille terminal, I can press B. For the Play Store, I can press P. So I'm just going to go enter here on the word.
Keyword menu, create,
Create. So I can create a document or I can thumb through my menu.
open, print, emboss,
I'm just going to go back up here and I'm going to
Open.
create.
create,
So press enter.
edit box, end of document,
So now I have a document in front of me so I can just use the Perkins Braille input to type.
H, E, L, L, O, space, I, T, space, I, S, space, A, space, F, I, N, E.
And if I needed to edit that, I can just press the backspace to go.
Deleted, and deleted,
Okay, so I'm just going to go.
N, D,
So now instead of having fine, I have fine.
space,
I can read back through my document with my with space and dot 2.
find, A, is, it, hello,
Or I can go forward with spacebar and
Hello.
5.
it, is, A,
I can go back over letter by letter with spacebar and 3.
A, space, S, I, space, T, I,
And I can go
space,
forward with spacebar and 6.
I, T, space, I, S, space, A,
Okay. Now, one of the more significant, and I can move to the top of the document with spacebar and L,
top,
or I can go to the end of the document or to the end of any screen with spacebar and 456. And again, that's a command common to most note takers and to most Braille displays. Now, one of the more,
new line,
I suppose, dynamic or exciting features about this device is that it's the Braille Note Touch, and that indicates that it is amenable to touch Braille. It's a relatively new concept. So if I lift the front panel from the Braille display, I can feel a tablet. So the glass input of a tablet. And as we know, as we all know now, touchscreens are becoming more and more prevalent and more important. So for me to turn this into a touch, to activate touch Braille or the touch tablet, I press my left and my right thumbs keys together.
touch Braille off,
Touch Braille off. Obviously, I want touch Braille on, so I'm going to press them together again.
touch Braille on,
Okay, so now I'm just going to come down to my Word document.
email, word processor, keyword,
Press enter on that.
keyword menu, create,
Create.
edit box, end of document,
So I have my end of document now. So now I can just open my case, spread my 10 fingers, and you need to use your 10 fingers on the tablet face. You feel a little vibration, and that's to indicate that now you're ready to start typing, like Mairead demonstrated with your 6 keys. The left little finger doubles as the dot 7, so you can just press backspace with that. Your right little finger doubles as dot 8, so if you want to press enter or whatever for a new line or for anything like that, you can just press your little finger, and that doubles as the enter key. Now, being the old dinosaur that I am, I do prefer the Braille input. I prefer the tactile feel of the Perkins Brailler. So I do use the Perkins Brailler input. So I can just do my hello,
HELL. Dots 2.
as I just did there a while ago. Now I made a mistake there, so I can just press dot 7 to go back.
Deleted. Dots 3, 4, 5 deleted.
And now I'm just going to correct that with
Dots 2, 4, 6. Dots 2, 4, 6 deleted. Oh,
hello, and I can just do my space.
space.
I can save the document. I can save my document. I can go into my menu with chord M. That's chords 1, 3, 4.
Context menu. File functions.
File functions.
Editing functions. Format functions. Bottom.
And I'm just going to go back up here to file. Press enter on file. And I can find my option to save.
Create new additional
To
document.
save.
Backspace. Open additional doc. Save. Space with S.
Space with S. So I can press enter on that and save the document. I'm just going to save it as David.
Edit box. Enter file name. Edit box. New document.
So
Save as A. V.Y.
D.
D. Edit box. Hell. Enclose. Omicron.
So I'm just going to press chord E to
Do you
exit.
want to save your document? Yes.
Yes.
Keyword menu. Create.
And I'm just going to chord E again to come out of there.
Main menu.
Now I've created a file called David, so to find that file, I can just, from my main menu, go to File Manager,
File manager. Key files.
press enter.
Key files.
My files are here in front of me.
Docs. Dave. Q tilde at ID.
Ah, Dave, there we go. That's our document. Press enter on that.
Hell. Enclose. Omicron.
And there we go. We have our file. I can do voice or I can do chord G to read the document, or I can just pan left or right to read. You know, if it was a longer document, you have to actually read the braille, the braille in the document. I'm just going to chord E again,
Do you want to save your document?
and I'm going to tab over to no.
No. Button.
Oh, that's grand.
Key files. Dave,
And I'm
Q
back
tilde
on my
at
main
ID.
menu, chord E for my main menu again.
Alarms folder.
And so
Drive selection. Storage. Main menu. Contacts.
I'm back here now. And again, if I had a USB, stick in here, a memory stick, that would show up in my list of drives, so I could have selected a document from that as well. Or if I had my SD card in, that would also have shown up in my file manager, so I could have selected a document from that as well. Another key feature of the Braille Note Touch is that we have a Braille terminal in it, which enables us to connect to another device. So, for example, if I wanted to connect to another device, I would just press B from the main menu
Braille terminal.
and enter.
Select how you want to connect to your device. Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. I can connect through Bluetooth, or I could connect it to a computer or a laptop or a Mac using a USB cable. I'm just going to select the Bluetooth by pressing enter.
You can now pair your Braille Note Touch with a host device.
So that enables me to use the Brilliant as a Braille display for my iPhone, so I can control my iPhone using the different features of the Braille Note Touch, such as the keyboard, etc. And if I want to revert from my back to my Brilliant, I just press that circular button here, which is called the start button,
Main menu.
and that brings me back to the main menu. So now the Brilliant Note Touch is in control of the device, whereas if I wanted to go back to the iPhone, again, I can just press B for Braille Terminal, press enter, and that sets it back up as a Braille display for my iPhone. So that's how that works. So you can transfer quite easily from one to the other, and you do not lose the connection. Once the initial connection is made, you do not lose the connection unless you physically go in and forget the device. If you want to check the battery, you can do your enter key in P.
Battery 53% not charging.
53% not charging. You can check your time with enter in T. You can change the grade Braille with backspace in G.
Computer Braille.
Now, because it's set to computer Braille, backspace in G will just put in a capital G, so you need to do backspace spacebar G, so backspace chord G.
Literary Braille.
And that brings us back to literary Braille. So again, there are just some handy shortcuts that you have available to you when you're on the Braille Note Touch. And again, then, to just turn it off, you just find the on button at the side, the left-hand side, and you hold it in for a few seconds.
Power off.
Power off. And you can just press one of the cursor keys or .8, the enter button.
Shutting down.
shutting down, and you can actually feel the braille display turns, and the machine is turned off, and then you can just wrap it up in its nice little case, and you can put it away, and it's a very handy device. Again, as I say, the vulgar topic of price has to be included here, and they are quite expensive machines. This retails between 6,000 and 7,000, which is quite expensive. Again, as we discussed in a similar podcast a couple of weeks ago, the digital braille is becoming so cost prohibitive that it's almost driving digital braille, particularly out of the home, into the educational centre or into the office, into work, because people genuinely just can't afford these devices for home use. Any questions? Send an email to braille@vi.ie. You can give any of us here on the Braille team a shout, and we can organise group training or one-on-one training on this or any of the Braille devices or any of the newer Braille displays, and we look forward to supporting you in the future.
There you have it. That is the Braille Note Touch, a fascinating little device, and actually remarkably well built. I was taking a look at it here the other day when Brian was in the office here the other day, and I was taking a look at it, and it's a remarkably well built device. Actually, it's almost, to me, it almost seems like a book that you just open it out, and then you have the actual like tablet kind of set up, the tablet screen underneath. It's a really nice, sturdy bit of kit. And one of the other things that I thought was very impressive is on the underbelly of the device, underneath it, it actually has a camera, so you can lift it up. And once you lift up, you've actually got the camera there, and that can take a picture of a document or whatever. And it comes, I believe, with a version of KNFB Reader, the good old KNFB Reader installed, which is really, really cool. A fascinating little bit of kit. Mairead, if I bring you in here, have you used the Braille Note? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I have given it a go right now. Some of the commands, all right, are the same as previous, we'll say, Braille displays. So some of them would be similar enough to the Braille Sense 6. But yeah, I have used it. The tablet mode is a handy option. It's good to be able to use it as a tablet or the Braille option. So if you're used to a touch screen as well, it's good to have that option. Mainly, I suppose I use the Braille Sense 6, alright, because it's the one I mainly use at work. So I kind of stick with using that at the moment. But it is a good option to have both 2 and 1 in a Braille device, and I think that's probably the way they will go in the future.
Absolutely. And it's good to have a little bit of competition as well in the space there for things like the Braille Sense 6 and, HumanWare, and they're not called HIMS anymore, Selvis. They can fight it out there in the battle of the Braille note takers, I'm sure. But Brian, thank you so much for that really interesting demo, and Mairead, thank you so much for coming in there as well. Much appreciated. We've have news coming up in just a few minutes, so do stick around with us. But in the meantime, if you do want to get in touch with us, we'd absolutely love to hear from you. Have you used any Braille displays, any Braille note takers, or maybe you've used Braille screen input? Share your perspective. We'd love to hear it. 086 199 0011 for a WhatsApp voice note. Or if you want to get in touch with us by email, you can use content@vi.ie. But now it's news time.
This is Talking Technology News.
So with your latest Talking Technology News, I'm Daniel Dunn. Apple are upgrading the iPad mini, but it really is a small upgrade, pardon the pun. The new iPad has now the same chip as the iPhone 15 Pro from last year, and it now brings support for the Apple Pencil Pro accessory used a lot by artists. This iPad, it really is just designed for those who want a smaller screen, as it's not even the cheapest in Apple's lineup. The new tablet comes in at €619 for the base 128GB version, and it maxes out at 512GB for €999. In Friday's Tech on Tap, we asked people if screen size mattered to them, and the consensus is that it does, but there clearly is a market for iPads like this in the smaller form factor. Let us know your thoughts with a WhatsApp voice note. Wait a second. Oh my. Oh wow. I can't believe this. David's going to give me a Bitcoin. I'm going to be rich. My newsreading days are behind me. I can put my feet up, enjoy the sunshine. Oh, David, thank you so much.
Daniel, that isn't me.
But David, it says here on Facebook that you're going to make me a millionaire.
Daniel, that's no. You've got that slightly confused. That's a fake ad, Daniel. It's a scam.
Oh, so it is. Right. Thankfully, we might see less of these fake ads in the future, though. Meta, who owns the likes of Facebook and Instagram, are going to start using facial recognition technology to try prevent scammers using ads posing as celebrities and public figures. In the past, scammers have used photos of celebrities like Ryan Tuberty and Daniel O'Donnell to get people to click false ads. These ads often lead to cryptocurrency scams or suggest that a celebrity has endorsed something that they haven't. This new facial recognition tech will hopefully prevent this kind of issue, although it's not set to roll out in the EU just yet. For now, if you see an ad online claiming someone wants to give you a gift, it's probably false. Be very careful with what you click online, even if it does seem very tempting. Users may be able to unlock their accounts using facial recognition tech too, which seems like a really interesting concept. Time will tell how this technology plays out. And finally, for now, ChatGPT is getting a Windows app. The new app is available in the Microsoft Store now, but currently only works for paying subscribers. The company already has apps for iOS, Android, and Mac, and you could already access ChatGPT through a browser. But the app now aims to make accessing the service a bit easier. The app does have some keyboard support, but it's currently unclear how it will work with the screen readers. ChatGPT is a really useful tool, and time will tell if this Windows version is a success. It will need to be available for free to benefit most people, but hopefully that will come in time. So do you use ChatGPT? If you do, please let us know with a WhatsApp voice note. And that's it for now. Be sure to sign up to our Tech on Tap newsletter. For all the latest technology news in your inbox, just search Vision Ireland Labs newsletter and sign up. For now, it's back to you, David.
Thanks so much, Daniel. Sorry I don't have a load of Bitcoin to give you, I'm afraid.
Oh, David, you really had my hopes up there for a few seconds, you know.
I'm terribly sorry. It is crazy though, isn't it, when you see those like cryptocurrency ads. I'm forever seeing them for, I don't know, are you familiar with Mr. Beast, Daniel?
No, not. No.
Yeah, you some would say you're better off. Mr. Beast is he's a YouTuber that does like, and it's weird because he's known for doing like massive giveaways and stuff like that.
Okay.
He's known for like, you know, oh, stay in this circle, I'll give you $250,000 or whatever the crack is like. And it seems very, you know, like some of the ads seem legitimate, which is the crazy part. And that's how they catch people. You know, you can very easily be caught. But I know Daniel O'Donnell, Ryan Tuberty, a number of others have had this issue before where it comes up and it's like, oh, Daniel O'Donnell, you know, he wants to do something just for you, and you know, it seems tempting if you're a Daniel fan.
I've seen some, particularly with the politicians, and if memory serves me correctly, one of the politicians actually took Facebook to court there quite recently over this. Yeah. So I guess they're after getting rattled by it, you know, like Facebook or Meta, should I say, and I have to implement something like that. But generally, you know, the ads I've seen, often there's a spelling mistake in there. You know, you suspect that they're being produced in places where English maybe isn't the first language, you know. Sure. So that can be a giveaway as well to, right, this is, you know, a little bit off.
It seems sketchy.
The type of font used as well just doesn't, you know, it looks like it was put together in Paint or something visually.
Probably
anyway,
was. Yeah. You know, Paint or Canva, one of the two. But yeah, it is interesting, and I think this will hopefully reduce some of that. I think in time, you know, we're going to see more and more of kind of crackdowns like this. But the unfortunate part is scammers and those who want to steal your money or your data or whatever, they're always one step ahead. So that's going to be the tricky part. But there you go.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like, they are kind of one step ahead, and I suppose for them, the team of scammers, and there's plenty of them out there. As soon as one door closes, they just manage to pick the lock and open another one. You know, so they're forever, like they are. I think just forever going to be with us. It's just what do when Facebook or Meta close this down or severely curtail it, they're obviously going to go back to the drawing board and say, right, what can we come up with to get around these new targeted measures? So
for sure.
It's going to be interesting. And look, it's good to see the crackdowns taking place on these.
Absolutely.
But I suppose all you can advise people for the moment is be absolutely vigilant. If it does, the old saying, we keep coming back to it every time something kicks off in the scammers world. If it's too good to be true, it usually is.
Absolutely. I very nearly got caught by an on-post scam recently, actually. I was legitimately waiting on a package, and the way you get the text for to pay your customs bill on some packages, I was legitimately waiting on one, and there was a fake one just came in as I was waiting for the real one, and I came so close, close, and that's the scary part. You do have to be so vigilant with it, but there you go.
You do. And look, in fairness, now and again, I'd buy a few pieces off Amazon, and look, at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff is still coming from the UK. And even though, you can set your Amazon to price you things in euro, and when you do go to the, when you go to the checkout to pay for something, you're buying something for €49.99, but there's always this 51.16, and you're thinking, where's that 116 coming out? That's actually Amazon putting in the custom charges for you. So it depends on what you're buying. Obviously, there's a few pence added on, or a few cents added on to the bill. So, it kind of just remember that, particularly if it's an Amazon package, and a lot of eBay. The good sellers on eBay, they'll do it for you as well. They'll put in the custom charges and charge that to you. So there is no nasty surprise when that package crosses into Dublin Port.
Yeah, it's where you have the those little independent sellers is where you run into trouble usually with it. And it's not an issue. There's nothing wrong. I actually find the on-post payments setup is actually decently good, I find, actually. It's just when there is a fake equivalent of it arrives, that's when it gets a bit sketchy. But there you go.
I suppose, look, if somebody gets a text message like that, go back to seller. As you say, you might come across a small-time seller who doesn't have, maybe the setup at their end to process custom charges on the behalf. So, and, at the end of the day, like, just going to be telephone numbers that you can ring. Is this legit? Give the number, your package number, and find out.
They'll tell you.
Don't ring the number that texts you.
That is very true. There you go. Great advice. Are you getting an iPad Mini, Daniel, or is it just a big iPhone?
Is it just a bit, phablet? That's the term that was bandied around a few years ago. I haven't heard much of that being spoken since. It has kind of a novel term. Is it just a bit oversized iPhone 15?
Yeah, so I think the there's only an inch and a bit between this and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I think the iPhone 16 Pro Max is nearly as close in size to the iPad Mini as the actual standard iPad is, which is crazy to think about, but there you go. Will you be getting one?
When we were discussing the iOS 18 rollout, and the lack of Apple Intelligence coming to Ireland, it kind of puts any intentions or plans for upgrading an Apple device on ice for the moment, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I would not like to go along and, maybe say, if we don't have a date for Apple Intelligence really coming to Ireland, and, if it comes out next August, why would you rush out and buy an iPhone 16 next August? And, the iPhone 17 obviously is going to be hitting the streets a few months later. Why not wait for that?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But there you go. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I have been on the 18.1 beta for a while now, and there's some stuff I like. I do have the Apple Intelligence button in my menu, but it just tells me it's not available in my region. And yes, I know people will tell me that I can change my device location and stuff like that, and change my device language, and I know that. But also I like things like I've set up stuff, for example, like voice detection for Siri. So if someone speaks to the HomePod in our house, it knows who's speaking, and I like stuff like that. And I just really don't want to have to do all that work again, to be honest. Retraining everyone's voices and all that. It's a bit of a pain, to be honest. So I'd love Apple Intelligence, and I know I could get it if I wanted it bad enough, but I don't want it bad enough right now. Yeah.
I noticed with the iOS 18 is the live the transcribe of voicemails have appeared now in the phone tab.
That's amazing.
Which is very interesting.
An amazing quality as well. Myself and Joe isn't here this week, but myself and Joe were playing around with that earlier on, and it really does sound amazing. We may share more on that in time, I think. Do stay tuned, because we're looking at some really cool stuff around that, actually. But do stay tuned for that. But it is a really cool feature, and also quite accessible, which is always brilliant. But hey, Daniel, thank you so much for the news as always. And who knows, maybe somebody will arrive with those bags full of Bitcoin for you at some stage.
I'll have to wait that little bit longer.
I think so, sadly. But there you go. So that is Talking Technology News. If you want to comment on any of the news stories that we had this week, or anything else that you saw in the news, we'd love to hear from you. You can send us a WhatsApp voice note, 086 199 0011. And remember that if you do want to get the latest news from the world of assistive technology in your inbox, you can sign up for our Tech on Tap newsletter. That comes out every single Friday, and you can sign up on the Vision Ireland website. That's vi.ie. Just search Labs newsletter, sign up, and you can enter your email there, and it will arrive in your inbox. But now, guess what? It's Quick Picks time.
It's time for VI Labs Quick Picks.
So our quick pick today is one that hadn't actually come across at my table, but it is an app called Brailliance, and Brailliance is a word game. Mairead, tell me a little bit more about this, if you don't mind. It's unusual to come across Braille-based word games, isn't it? Or is this more common than I know?
There isn't a whole lot of them out there, actually, to be honest, if anyone. And this is actually, it's a really good one, because it's very challenging, and it really tests you. So, it's ideal. So we'll say the purpose of the game is it's a word puzzle game. It might say something to you the word consists of maybe 9 dots or 10 dots or 11 dots. And you have to, straight away in your head, when you're thinking of words initially, you're thinking, oh, it has to have so many characters. You don't think of it in the form of dots. So it's a total different way of thinking, especially for a Braille user. It's a total different way of thinking.
It's really
straight
clever,
away,
though, isn't it?
When you hear something is made up of 9 dots or whatever, you're like, oh my God, what word can I come up with that makes 9 dots? So you start going through all the alphabet in your head, and you're going through it, and you're coming up with a few words. So what's good about it then is it has sound effects as well. So every time you press a letter on, just to mention there as well, actually, that when you're typing on the letter, it has 2 different types of keyboards. So it has a QWERTY keyboard, which we would all know from typing, which is really, really good. And like we'll say as you get to all the different letters, so like it might say A, when you get to A, it says A1 dot, B2 dots, so on. But visually, when that actually appears, it does actually tell you how many dots. It does actually tell you and shows a picture of the dots that each of the letters are made up of as well. So it
Really
might say, for example, C2 dots, and it does have a picture of dot 1 and dot 4 as well, and a picture of what the letter C looks like. So that's very good for anyone who's like, we'll say, learning Braille and has some vision, and they just want something to reference.
For sure.
So that is the QWERTY keyboard. So like if you move along, like if you just swipe around the app, you have, and often by default, it does go to the QWERTY keyboard. So if you want to, we'll say, go in alphabetical order. And just to mention as well, when you're using the keyboard, you don't actually type in Braille on this, just in case anyone thinks this is like for Braille input or something. It's not Braille. It's just you swipe around to the left and right to whatever letter you want and double tap to insert it. So as if you were typing, as it is on the phone keyboard.
They really should add Braille screen input support, shouldn't they, actually?
Yeah,
when you think
and
about
it would be lovely to see that coming, actually.
Absolutely. Will we play a round or two, Mairead?
Definitely.
Let's give it a go. So I've a fresh install of the Brailliance app here. So I'm just going to
Brailliance
or Brailliance there, and I will just double tap to open. Okay.
Alert. Allow Brailliance to track your activity across other companies' apps and
they all
your
want
data
to do
will
it
be
these
used
days,
I think
Mairead.
don't track anyway.
Ask app not to track.
Let's
Button.
do that. Okay.
Brailliance. Guess the word. The correct answer will have Braille dots which add up to the number above. This word has 10 dots. For this example, type tail, T-A-L-E, using the keyboard and press enter.
Okay, so there I'm in a tutorial now straight away. So it's telling me there straight away that it's got 10 dots and the word I believe here is tail. So Murray, that adds up then, does it? So how many dots do we have for the letters T-A-L-E? A is obviously 1 and E is 2. I know that much. L is what, 3?
3 and T is 4.
Awesome. So that's 4. 1, that's 5, and then 3, that's 8, and then 2, that's 10. So that all adds up then to tail. So let's add, let's see if we can...
tap here for native keyboard. Guess the word. The correct answer. Tap here for native keyboard. Text bar, 4 dots.
So
Button.
there's 4 dots.
T, 4 dots.
So
Button.
T, 4 dots. So I'm going to double tap.
T, 4 of 10.
So that's that one. Now I need A.
A, 1 dots.
There's
Button.
A, 1 dot. Obviously just a dot 1 for A.
And it does have a visual of it as well.
Which is really cool to see as well, which is fantastic.
A, 5
so
of 10.
There's A. I love how there's a different in sound for the actual letters, which is really cool. Next up, we are going to L. So that's, correct me if I'm wrong, dots 1, 2, 3, Mairead?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Look at me being all good
Button.
at Braille.
I know.
L,
There
8
we
of 10.
go. Awesome. And now E, dots 1 and 5. So let's go to E.
E, 2 dots. Button. E, 10 of 10.
And I
know
heard a
you
little
can see it.
sound there that sounds like I was correct. So let's...
How to play. Button. Previous
You
guesses.
have to press
nothing
the
yet.
enter key there.
Guess a
Sorry,
word.
David.
Oh, you have to
Hints.
press the...
Button.
Good, see, that's why we've got a pro here. Let's press the enter key.
Enter. Button. Enter. You found 3 letters that are in the correct answer. T, A, L, and 1 that isn't. E. Replace this 2-dot letter E with a different one.
Okay, so a 2-dot letter. So E isn't in the thing then it said. So for a, what was it, a 10?
I would try K, talk. T-A-L-K.
So how many does that
So K
also
has
have?
2 dots.
Oh, I didn't know that. What are the dots for K?
1 and 3.
1 and 3. I did not know that actually.
Now.
J, 3 dots. K, 2 dots.
Awesome.
Button. K, 2 of 10.
And I guess I press enter here again.
App Love and Max advertisement.
Oh, there's an ad.
V, 4 dots. V, 4 dots. B, 2 dots. Button. Enter. Button.
And there we go.
Enter. Amazing. Use Brailliance.
Awesome.
App Love and
So
advertisement.
now, straight away there, Mairead, it's giving me an ad, which is...
Ad love an advertisement.
Quite annoying, I must say.
The ads, yes, they are quite annoying because unfortunately it just takes over the whole screen and it takes like a few minutes before a close option on the ad appears. So you can't really do anything with the app until
Ad love
then.
an advertisement.
So that's
love
the
an
reason why
advertisement.
I actually decided to purchase this app.
Yeah,
So,
it's a bit unfair though, isn't it? When
and
you think about because it makes the app less, an otherwise quite accessible app, it makes it much less accessible, which is quite disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is disappointing in that sense. So it really does kind of push you to purchase the app, really, I suppose, because, the ads just get in the way.
So is it
it's a pity there
expensive?
isn't just a close button. To purchase the app, then it's about $9.99. So we'll say $10 US dollars.
Yeah.
But you have it then for lifetime, and it does unlock. Purchasing the app also does actually unlock more puzzles for you as well, some more advanced ones.
It's a really clever idea. Like, I do love the idea. I just wish they had, maybe it's
a light version or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get a certain number of puzzles free and then you unlock the rest with the in-app purchase. I think that will be much fairer than just having whole screen ads. I'm going to see, is there a close option here?
Ad love an advertisement. Ad love an advertisement. Ad love an advertisement.
Even as I flick left and right, there's no close option.
No, it takes a couple of minutes for it to appear.
That's ridiculous, Mairead.
Yes,
that is really annoying, isn't it? I do think there's a much better way to do that. But other than that, once you do purchase it, it does sound like a brilliant concept and a great app, is it? You've purchased the full version. How do you find it?
I've purchased the full version, yeah. So it is very accessible. It does really, get you thinking about, as I say, it's a different way of thinking of how many dots are in a word rather than how many characters. So it's a different way. Just another thing to mention there as well on the app is, let's say it gives you a question like, it's an 8-letter word or whatever. Visually, it also does actually show that the word has so many characters, whereas VoiceOver doesn't actually give you that information, and it would be nice to have that information.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, because if anyone sighted looks at this, they know okay, it's a 4-letter word or it's a 5-letter word. So I must think of 9 dots that make up 5 letters 5 letters in a word. So that is a nice kind of a bonus to have. And again, just to mention, it's a game that, to really emphasize, it's a game that sighted and non-sighted people can have lots of fun with, because it has your QWERTY style keyboard. So the person doesn't need to, sighted person, doesn't need to know Braille. So my nieces and nephews, they just love it. So
that's amazing, isn't it?
And they're very fast at solving the puzzles.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's awesome, though. And fair play. I do love the concept, though. I think the ads do definitely get in the way a little bit. But it is fascinating. And it's a great way to learn Braille in a sense, too, because now, look, Mairead, I know that's 1 and 3 are K, which is great.
I know. Well done, David. You learn something new every day.
I sure do. They say they can't teach an old dog's new trick, but I am proof that is not the case, Mairead. A fantastic little app, Brilliance, available on the App Store, and at least the initial download is free, Mairead.
It is, yeah. And just to mention there, the other keyboard, as I was saying, there's 2 types of keyboard. So you'd have the QWERTY, and the other one then is all the keys are in alphabetical order. So if you like to keep swiping right, you'll A, B, C, D. So it's whichever option you want. So in the middle of each game, there is a swap button. And if you double tap on that, that does actually, swap the keyboard around. And every time, we'll say you have one game completed and you go on to a new level, it automatically defaults back to the QWERTY keyboard. So you would have to swap again if you prefer the other keyboard. So I think one thing I would love, actually, that you could make whichever keyboard layout you prefer your default.
Yeah, that
and it would stay that way. So that is one feature that I would love for it.
Awesome. Well, listen, Mairead, thank you so much for showing us that. A really, really cool app, I must say. And who knows, I will be a Braille whiz by the time I finished. I wonder how many levels there are total. I would love to get to the end of the game, but there you go.
Loads. I definitely know, like in the beginners level, like there's over 500 word puzzles. Like, so
That might take a while then. Yeah.
Might take a while, yeah.
Awesome stuff.
But then there's more advanced levels as well, and there's an expert level, and so it keeps going on.
Fair play. Very good. Mairead, thank you so much for showing us Brilliance, a really cool quick pick this week.
Thanks so much, David.
And yeah, I really do need to get playing it a little bit more, I must say. But yeah, before we finish up this week, just to note that we do have a number of upcoming Braille courses, and not just Braille either. We've got a wide variety of courses that people can check out. And Daniel, you've got the details, I believe, on some of these courses. What have we got coming up?
Yes, David. So I suppose continuing on from our little chat there about Bitcoin and the whatnot, we are actually running how to identify frauds and scams online. We're running this on the 27th of November at 3 o'clock. And it's open to everyone. It's you join online. Just drop us an email to training@vi.ie if you're interested in that. So that's email again is training@vi.ie. It's been run on the 27th of November, 3 o'clock to 4:30. It's a one-off event. So there's no kind of coming back for second session or anything like that. So just get in touch there, express your interests. One of our IT trainers will be in touch to tell you more all about it.
Brilliant stuff. And we do have some other ones as well. We've got one coming up on the Google Nest smart speaker. That's on its way. We've got accessing podcasts, media, things like that. And Mairead, there's loads of Braille courses coming up as well, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. So we have an uncontracted Braille course coming up again. So that's for anyone who's a beginner to Braille, or who's helping out. We'll say helping out anyone and a parent of a child or anything that's coming up again. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Always popular.
Also have the Hable that will be coming up as well. So it's a beginner's one for the Hable. So getting to know the Hable and using it with your phone. So mainly using it with the iPhone. So that's coming up. And we also have a contracted Braille course coming up as well in the next couple of weeks.
Brilliant.
So that's for anyone who would have done, we'll say, the uncontracted one and wants to move on to the contracted course, or who has some knowledge in contracted but it wants to do a refresher in it maybe. So that's coming up soon as well. So if anyone is interested in any of these courses, please just send an email to training@vi.ie and the IT trainers who are running the courses will get in touch with you then.
Awesome stuff.
It's important to say, David, on our website, vi.ie, if you select news and events and then upcoming events, you get a list of everything that the organisation is doing. So it's just, I suppose we've highlighted here the upcoming events that are kind of technology related, but there is lots of other stuff going on. And, we appreciate while everyone tunes in and listens to us for technology related content. There is life outside technology and there is so much more there on offer that may be of interest to you as well. So do keep regular visits to that page, because events are being added all the time and the content is constantly updated. So
did you say, Daniel, that there's more to life than just technology? Is that a real thing?
Sorry, David, line is very bad there.
Yeah, more to life than technology. Wow. I must, it's one of these things. It's like, I don't know. That's amazing. To me, I definitely need to do more of these things. But as Daniel said, loads of really cool events. I know there's some really cool stuff coming up from the children's team as well. There's some brilliant stuff coming across all different departments in the organization. So do check that out, vi.ie. And who knows, I'll be looking forward as well to that contracted Braille course, maybe, Mairead. Now that I know what the letter K is, I'll be learning off a rhyme for my and for of the with soon again. Haven't been doing that in quite a while, but there you go. So hey, that is about our show. Thank you so much for listening in to Talking Technology episode 69. Hope you had fun, and thank you as well in particular to Mairead and the Braille team. They organised a lot of this podcast today and did a brilliant job of it too. So thank you so much for that, folks. Much appreciated. And hey, we will be back in 2 weeks' time for another episode of Talking Technology with VI Labs. If you want to get in touch in the meantime, you can send us a WhatsApp voice note 086 199 0011, or if you do need technology support, you can call the VI Labs help desk. That's 1-800, I forgot the number. 911-110. There we go. I got confused because I was going to go to 199, but yes, 1-800-911-110. We got there in the end. Thank you, Daniel. There you go. That is our show for this week. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time, and stay safe. Bye now.
Thanks for listening to the Talking Technology podcast with VI Labs. If you'd like to support our show, please visit vi.ie/donate. Talking Technology is proudly sponsored by IA Labs, the market leader in digital accessibility services. IA Labs, digital inclusion, your legal obligation.